Hello, welcome to the 100x Connects community. Let me take you through the 100x ecosystem. Step 1. Become a free or paid member. Step 2. Discover your passion by tuning into the 100x daily night sessions, chatting with other members in the 100x Discord community, and participate in 100x virtual summits. Step 3. Unleash your true potential by equipping yourself with 100x workshops and work with you challenges. Step 4. Begin your entrepreneurial journey by signing up for the Malaysia Ministry-endorsed 100x 100 Days Business Startup Challenge, seeking business advice, or enrolling in the advanced business coaching for pitching and funding. Step 5. Being the country's best entrepreneur community, 100x has a wealth of resources such as business funding to accelerate your business, digital marketplaces to sell your products and services, and collaboration platforms to do networking and organize your favorite event, among many others. Furthermore, 100x will also create business opportunities. All these are easily accessible and convenient for 100x members. Step 6. In return, the 100x alumni hope to bring together like-minded people and provide mentoring, internship and career opportunities to help the network grow. Pillars are used to uphold purposes. At 100x, we believe that every entrepreneur should embark on a purposeful journey. 100x is built on 7 pillars: financial intelligence, fitness and wellness, business and entrepreneurship, sales and marketing, personal development, love and relationship, and hobbies and leisure. Sign up as a 100x member and start a purposeful journey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back again to the Pocket Finance Show. My name is Chanel, and beside me, you have 𝗬𝘁𝗃 here, who is also our Pocket Finance Show host tonight. So if you guys are actually online currently, do say hi to us, say hi to us. Yeah, so I hope everyone had a very good Christmas celebration. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, it's hello time from 100x Connects. Yeah, so if this is the first time that you're actually dropping by this channel, we are Chanel and 𝗬𝘁𝗃. We represent the host for the Pocket Finance Show. So we are airing every single Monday that talks about finances, money tips, and a lot of hacks about money as well. So this channel is actually brought to you by 100x Connecting Entrepreneurs, whereby we believe that entrepreneurship shouldn't be a lonely journey, right? So you can actually achieve entrepreneurship even though with a lot of entrepreneurs help and also support from each other. That's why we believe that with similar acquaintances, it's a very, very important step for us to move forward in our entrepreneurship. Yeah, so whether you're having your side gigs, whether you're having your business, or whether you actually have a lot of ideas that you want to really materialize, that's why you're here. And for those of you who's actually watching this Facebook Live currently, do share out this session to more people out there, because tonight's topic is quite interesting. Not only that we're going to talk about properties again, but tonight we're actually going to drill into why Japanese love Malaysia in the first place, and why Japanese will love to migrate to Malaysia as to become their second home, and who are they, where are they staying, and what are the common things that they're actually looking at in a home, right? So that they can actually make it at their retirement home and things like that. Yeah, so speaking from experience, let's interview 𝗬𝘁𝗃 a little bit before we actually start the session today. Yeah, so speaking from experience, right, how is Japanese very different from Malaysian actually?
In terms of living quality, of course, very safe. Japan is you always walk out like 2-3 in the morning for supper, and you know that you're always in a safe environment. Then of course, clean is definitely one. It's very, very clean. Everyone it's a very individualistic nation where everyone minds their own business. It's not like friendly per se, like Malaysian are usually very warm, and also because I suppose it's also a little bit of a language barrier. That's why but of course when you ask them question, they will be always there to help you. So yeah, basically it's a more reserved country, not saying not so warm, but yeah, not too not too stranger. You're a stranger in Japan, then a little bit, sometimes you get a bit lost, and you're also shy to ask them and stuff like that. So yeah.
True lah, because our culture is a bit more laid back. We are not shy. Anything that we don't really know, we just ask.
Everyone
We are
is
very
rushing.
open book, right?
Yeah, we're very rushing for time. In Tokyo especially, everyone is rushing to work, rushing to go home to catch the last train, because sometimes they stay a bit far away from Tokyo itself, maybe 2 hours. And from Tokyo, they have to change another train back to home. So sometimes it will take them 1 hour, 1.5 hours, even 2 hours to get home. So usually their train at their station at their area, maybe at 12 o'clock midnight, they were closed. So they have to leave Tokyo like 10 o'clock. So sometimes everyone got to, even their drinking session will usually end around 12. If not, if they miss the train, then they have to stay back in Tokyo or take a taxi, which is very costly. That's some of the things that need to take note when in Japan. So they have to stay, they have to leave like 10:30 to catch the next train back home.
When you're talking about 10:30, you're actually talking about 10:30 p.m., right?
Yeah,
So
after
which means
work.
Japanese actually work until so late. After their dinner, they still go for
Japanese,
drinking. They don't go back immediately like us.
it's a big culture that your colleague don't leave, you don't leave. So it's like a open secret. It's like even if your colleague leaves, right? Then you like you feel very like 唔好意思, or you feel very like how do I put
Embarrassed
it?
to leave.
Embarrassed to leave early. So it's like,
Yeah.
then you say like, 𝗓𝗍𝗃𝗃, she must like, I'm that you need to leave, so I need to leave so early. So yeah.
I see. Okay, so that is the sneak peek of the difference in our culture, right? Like in Malaysia, we are very laid back. It's okay, things can be done tomorrow, things like that. Let's have fun and let's go back home. Yeah, so that's why today we really want to show about the differences and to showcase to you on the potentiality of investing into properties that is targeted to Japanese as well. Because now that we can see properties is actually back in the boom again, property in Malaysia is starting to see some light again, after months and a year, under the water and all that. So right now, how about if we target Japanese then? Okay,
Yeah.
so let us start our topic today. So the topic today is, what do Japanese like about Malaysia now? Before Japanese can stay in Malaysia, don't you agree that they got to first like our country? Yeah, so
Yep,
that's when the
definitely.
patriotic of, yeah, if you happen to be the patriotic Malaysian, congratulations to you. Now you know why Japanese will like your country very much. So make sure that you stay tuned until the end. So the next thing is, where do they stay, right? Iwan, we're gonna
Yeah,
drill into this
yeah,
topic as well.
definitely. That's where the I mean, when you go to overseas, then you want to stay. Of course, you want to try you want to try new culture as well. But more than so you want to be within your own friends and own circle of Japanese, where own neighborhood. Preferably, of course, to settle down easily, and you want to hope to have an environment where you can buy your stuff easily and stuff like that. So yeah, there's certain places in Malaysia which actually cater for Japanese, which a lot of them stays around that few areas. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Before we go into it, let me introduce myself. I'm Chanel Chong. So currently an estate planner, insurance planner, and I also co-founded two property rental management company. Have a very strong grip into properties. Currently, I also own a YouTube channel and repurposing my content as well on different social media to educate people about the financial planning, estate planning, how important it is. Yeah. So there you go. We have our partner Yvonne Chin here, who also happens to be the founder of Japanese Play Group. She is a full-time Japanese tutor, and currently she's also the holder of the financial literacy program license, that is actually being obtained from in US. And she has successfully organized her financial camps in US and also Indonesia, which was specifically for children. So how interesting it is. Yeah, and currently she's also a Japanese content creator, teacher, and translator. And don't forget to also check her out on her YouTube channel, which is called Japanese Playgroup. Yeah, if you love Japanese contents, do check her out as well.
Thank you.
Okay, number one questions, that actually arise. Why Japanese loves Malaysian? Now, the answer is the culture and the retirement life. Just now, even though Yvonne talked a little bit about the culture differences, but there are also a lot of similarities that Japanese love about Malaysia. So let's see on the first one. Okay, so on the 3 points here, Yvonne, do you agree on this three?
Yes, I do, definitely. Definitely. Because that's also very much why the reason why I started studying Japanese, and which my dad actually encourages me when I was teenager. I wanted to take up language. Then during those 90s were the J-pop years, right? So my dad said, yeah, you should, because the time Mahathir has opened the door wide open for the Japanese to come in to set up factories. That's why you can see a lot of Japanese coming in, like Panasonic, like a lot of big companies building their plants here, That's because Malaysia opens their arm wide during Mahathir time, welcoming them. That's why my dad thinks that it's good to learn the language as well.
Mm. Oh, good evening,
Second,
Aiden. Good evening to you as well.
hi, then.
Welcome in,
Hi,
welcome in.
yep.
Ah,
Share,
so
do
that's why
you help us
in
with
the
that?
in the 90s there were a lot of demand for Japanese content, and the J-pop was actually popping up. That's why you said this trend actually came out, right?
Yeah. Of course, those days we do not have Astros or satellite TV, so we only have like our local channels, and sometimes they do have once in a while they do have J-pop, J-drama, Japan dramas. But besides that, also we have places to buy the CDs as well, buy set boxes and stuff like that. So that's how 90s were last time. So then,
Mm.
yeah, a lot of course, a lot of demand during those days, because there's a lot of factories here, and a lot
I
of
still remember when I
expatriate.
was in I still remember when I was in Form 1 or Form 2, there were a group of Japanese students that came for exchange, and they were visiting
Yeah,
our school. Yeah, so that was the moment when Japanese schools actually decided to actually come to Malaysian schools to have that exchange program. And that's when we got to meet a lot of the Japanese students as well. And I mean, we could see the differences. And I guess that was a time when Malaysians Malaysians were very into the Japanese culture as well. Like you can see a lot of
yeah.
what you call it, that one that you do the cosplay. What event is that?
Anime.
No, anime is one. Anime is what you watch, right? There's this event whereby
Mm.
people go in cosplay and
Yeah, it's a cosplay in Malaysia event, but it's not like I would say that, like, not like everybody knows about it, but it's a very niche. Cosplay is a very, very niche market.
mm,
Not really to the general public per se. A lot of people that not into anime or not into cosplay will not know about the event, right? So
mm.
in a lot of, I think, schools or Japanese language schools, or the community actually. And it's also a very recent thing. It's not like during the 90s. It's more towards later on, where there's internet, where's Facebook, then that's where they
Mm.
start to promote all these events and stuff like that. Yeah, our time don't
Okay.
have during the 90s.
I think for my time it started around 2000, around there
Mm,
when J drama were very popular. Before K
mm.
drama, J drama was very popular.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely before
that's why.
K-drama.
Coming back to the topic here, right? Talking about the history a little bit. That's why, because of all these influences, Malaysians loved Japanese culture at a point of some time, and because of that influence, we actually had a lot of all these influences around. Like we can see that we have shops like Daiso, for example, right? Japanese shops around. Like there were a time whereby the 5 ringgit Japanese shop was very, very popular, and anime were also available around. Japanese restaurants as well. It's available around
In
as well.
Yeah, like
And I think
Isetan and
Malaysians
stuff
cannot
like
live
that.
without
Yeah.
Japanese food these days.
Yeah, exactly, right. So Japanese food is one of them. Of course, those were the days where you do not 90s, talking about the 90s, right? You do not really have cheap Japanese food in Malaysia. It's very expensive. You usually have it in a very proper, not so like what we see today, which is very casual dining Japanese. Last time it's more like a very, I won't say fine dining like omakase or kaiseki, but it's usually the setup of the Japanese restaurant are very proper, trim and proper, like Japan. But of course, nowadays we have a lot of like 𝗧𝗍 King, we have a lot of like Hokkaido, like Sanmai
Like
and
all
stuff like that,
the
which is very
franchises
casual.
all coming up. Yeah.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly.
That's why because of all these factors, but likewise, right? You won't get Malaysian food in Japan. You won't.
You do have we do have a Malaysian food in Japan as well, in Tokyo especially, like chicken rice. We have
But
nasi
is it very
lemak.
easily accessible?
Yeah, it's quite easily. If you just need to
Mm.
search up on some of the website, then you could usually just search Malaysia 料理. Then usually the list will come out, and you just choose whichever that's near your area. It's quite
Okay.
a lot there.
Yeah, and also thanks to our very friendly culture, we are generally very friendly and helpful. That's why Japanese
Definitely.
make themselves feel like home as well. Because imagine if you are coming from overseas, your English may not be perfect, and then you come to Malaysia. And one thing about Malaysian is this is also commented by Aki from Japan, one of the very
Mm-hmm.
famous YouTubers from Japan as well. He said something
Yep.
about Malaysian is that Malaysian can speak English with full confidence, even though their English are spoken poorly. That is the real fact about Malaysian, because we have that la culture, we have that Manglish. It's not really totally English, but it's a broken English. But yeah, we actually speak with full confidence. That's why for Japanese as well, when they come here, they don't feel the stress speaking up themselves. They feel okay with that. So this is actually a plus point for them as well. Don't
Yeah.
underestimate things, okay? Yeah. Treat your expat friends like a normal friends, and they really actually can feel the warmth in you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so let's
definitely.
actually go next. Yeah, so why retirement life? Like what we say, it is so stress free. Yeah, you made a mistake on your English, and so what? We don't care. It's actually so laid back. And in fact, they say that Malaysians generally will be late as
Yeah,
compared to
because
Japan culture.
Japan is always early. Late is never in their dictionary. It's really, really bad. So they are usually, even though they have appointment like at 12, they will usually be there like 11:30, because there's no reason for you to be late, because the train system there is so advanced and so accurate on timing that if not, it is not the train that is late, it's definitely you are late, and you need to do your timing properly. And usually, like what we do last time in Japan, there's few apps that we need to have, like usually 3 apps that you need to have on hand. First thing first is your train app is a must. Second thing is your weather app, and the third thing is also, of course, the earthquake app. Of course, the earthquake app, we will on the
Mm.
notification, it will just go on a shaky mode. But then again, because there's 2 apps that's very important, which is a train app, and you can seek that in way advance, and no reason for you to be late, because there's no jam like Malaysia or any reason for you to be late.
True. That's why, because Japanese, if let's say they want to move here for retirement, definitely want to look for a chill place. That's why I think our culture actually built in a way that is actually less stressful. Even though we can hear a lot of people who are complaining that Malaysian life is getting more stressful these days. But I'm going to show you an example towards a little bit and later on what is a real stress to you. Okay. Yeah, real stress in Japan is no joke as compared to your life here. No joke. Nothing.
Yeah.
You're living nothing as compared to them. And
Mm.
this is definitely a very suitable place for food. Yeah, like what we said, we have Japanese food, and not only that, we have very similar culture food like Chinese, like Korean, like Malaysian food that is also very, very Asian. So I bet
Mm.
that even though they don't eat Japanese food every single day, but I'm sure that they can find a suitable food because the food variety here is so great, right? And the
Yeah.
language, like people here can speak multiple languages. Yeah, look at
Exactly.
Yvonne. Look at Yvonne. Yvonne can speak Mandarin. She can speak Japanese. She can speak English, Malay. Cantonese?
Dialect, Cantonese, Hokkien, Hakka. I think I can't. I mean, that is all dialect, but if you put it into one, I can speak 7.
That's why we have this advantage here as a Malaysian. And safety, okay, safety wise, to Japanese, right? Actually, the city that they choose to stay in are very safe. This may shock you to life, but in fact, this is actually one of the point that the Japanese actually pointed out, that actually Malaysia is still pretty safe. Yeah, as compared to other countries in Southeast Asia and Asia. And the
Definitely.
location and the cost of living. Cost of living in Malaysia, yeah, even though it's increasing like crazy these days, but it is nothing as compared to Japan. Do you know that Japan is the second most expensive country in the world? Right.
Expensive. One of the
Expensive.
most sense. But I
Yeah.
got to differ a little bit from that. It's like, because Malaysia is also getting very expensive per se. So it's like you go the Japan, if you go as a tourist, then it's almost like Malaysia now to me. I find it a little bit, because Malaysian are not cheap either, you know. But if we talking about staying, like really moving to Japan, yes, of course, the property there compared to Malaysia is way more expensive. That's why people will stay very far away from Tokyo. Then they rather travel, because usually the company there, the company will subsidize the transport. So the further you are, the company will usually subsidize more compared to if you stay in the city. So yeah, so they don't mind to stay a little bit further and travel a little bit. Very
Yeah,
expensive.
but we will go into the cost of living as well, because even though Malaysian cost of living is high, but there is also a saying that the food in Tokyo is the food in KL city itself. If you go to those expensive stores like 𝗧𝗶𝗃𝗲, if you buy from them and get it done for your whole month's groceries, right, it's still at least 50% cheaper as compared to you buying the cheap groceries in Tokyo. So that's the research, what the research is actually telling us. So, but of course we actually shouldn't compare like that, because the earning power there and earning power here is also very, very different. The income capability right now in Malaysia is not adjusted to be that level yet to cater for the inflation. So I wouldn't say that it's low as well. Yeah, but if you want to come to be earning the Japanese income and come here to stay, definitely it's cheaper for you. Yeah, am I right, Yvonne?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so one good thing to shout out is that, do you know that Malaysia is the number one country for the 14 consecutive years that Japanese would vote to live for long days? So what does this mean? That means if you ask any Japanese which country can you actually foresee yourself to stay for a couple of months or years, they will tell Malaysia. Yeah, so
Definitely.
why
A
Malaysia?
lot.
Among their bucket list are not only that it's stress free, but Malaysia. The Aki from Japan said, right, it actually shocked him that the first time he came to Malaysia, Malaysia is so urbanized as compared to what they knew. First thing, so urbanized. The KL city actually wowed them. And the second thing is, not only that we are quite urbanized in our cities, but the government actually managed to keep up a lot of the heritage still very, very close to the nature, like our beaches, like our forests, and also a lot of those greeneries, right? It is actually still preserved well, and we got actually very good holiday destinations as well that a lot of people are actually flying in to enjoy without us realizing.
Malaysia, Malaysian government does do a lot of advertising, tourism in Japan as well. You can, if you are in Japan, you can see that there are Malaysia billboards as well, promoting Malaysia. So sometimes they promote a lot on a very how would I say, it's very targeted places such as Langkawi, such as 𝗬𝗧cie𝗂𝗁𝗲, and you can see that these are very beach area like Penang, because there's a lot of factory in Penang, right? So that like beach area. So I believe because in Japan it's such a culture that they only swim during summer. So then they go to beach during summer, right? So but in Malaysia it's very different because you can go to the beaches here like any time of the day. As long as there's no rain, I think you can go anytime. So yeah, that's one of the different, like Japanese love the sea, love the sun, love the water. So Malaysia has many places have all this, yeah, facilities.
Correct. And Aki from Japan says, you think Malaysia's summer is hot? Ah? You think Malaysia's weather is hot? Try going to Japan. Their summer
No,
is 40
no.
degrees. They say they
See,
don't even want to go out.
I
They
don't
say,
like Japan summer. No, I really
ah,
don't like Japan
that,
summer.
that's why
No.
that's why they say
You,
even though summer is the best time for you to enjoy by the sea, they would rather come
that's why
Malaysia to enjoy.
they have to go to the water because it's so hot. Like during summertime when my husband when we stay in Japan, when he walked back from the station. Our station is just like 4 minutes from home. He walked back, right? Then his whole back is all sweat, like
You
soaking
mean
sweat.
that few minutes made him
If
sweat? Ah?
yeah,
Wow.
if I just twist, like, right, then you can see like really water come. It's very humid there. It's very, if nothing
Mm.
close to Malaysia. Malaysia is nothing close to Japan. Summer that's really hot. Really hot.
This explains why everyone else are dying to fly in for holiday. Now we know. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Malaysians don't complain so much. Huh? It's either you go
Yeah.
overseas, it's too cold or too hot.
True enough. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so why Japanese choose Malaysia? We actually already explained before this, but okay, how about Malaysia, my second home? Now, this is a program that's being launched by our Malaysian government in the late 2000 because this one, if not mistaken, it was also introduced to Hong Kong as well and also China
Mm.
people as well. Yeah,
Yep.
more of the developed Asian countries so that they can actually think of Malaysia as their second home, their retirement home.
Yep.
Okay, I think this actually successfully boosted up our property industry as well for at a point of time. So in the late 2000, when this program was being launched, Malaysia put a lot of advertisements and effort into it, and Malaysia turns out to become the popular destination for Japanese retirees to buy and own an MM2H house here.
True.
And according to a Wikipedia's result, right, total there were around 513 Japanese applicants between the 4 years after this program was actually being launched. Now, the main reason actually they did a survey after that to ask, how come you chose Malaysia as your second home, right? They said there are actually two factors. One factor is, like what we said, cost of living. They say you can afford to retire in Malaysia and without worrying about things much. But in Japan is actually not possible. The only way to live in Japan for them at the age is to continue working. And second thing is they like the nursery services around and the medical support in Malaysia as well, which is also easily accessible. Yeah. So, how about you, Yvonne? Do you think there are actually more reasons why Japanese would love to retire in Malaysia?
I believe it's a convenience as well. Like what you say, this is called the what do you call this? The hospital tourism. That's one thing that Malaysia was actually pushing as well. Just like Thailand was pushing their hospital tourism, Malaysia was once upon a time pushing our hospital tourism as well. Because as you know that Malaysia medical is also pretty advanced, and the thing is we
Mm.
can go and see doctor. You know what I mean? We can go and see doctor. If you stay in overseas, you will understand what I mean about this. Like for example,
Well, what do you mean? Do you mind to explain?
places like Australia's and even Japan, it's like you want to go and see doctor, right? You need to make appointment. And not only that, like in UK, you cannot go and see doctor directly. You need to go for the pharmacies first, right? You cannot just walk into a clinic, to a doctor and say that I want to see doctor. Usually you don't do that. You know, it's by appointment. Malaysia, you still can 24 hours go into a clinic, right? And see doctor. So in Japan, isn't the case. In Japan, very much is everything is appointment based. Yeah. So Yeah, that's the very much.
So it's not convenient. It's like suddenly okay. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like I
a
cannot breathe. I cannot just go to ICU like that. I have to go through a lot of
yeah,
steps.
you need to go through a lot of red tape. Japan is all about the red tape. It's all about the
Wow.
process. Yeah, so it's not
Wow.
like
It's all the
ah
SOP. My goodness.
yes, it's all the
That's
SOPs
why this is the part that
definitely.
Malaysian hate. We just want to get things done. We don't care about all this SOP.
Yeah, it's
Of
really
course.
blessed that we can just go and see doctor and the doctors is always there for you. Please appreciate this because in some of the countries you have to go to see the pharmacist first and not the doctor. You have to sick for at
Ah.
least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks after that, only you'll be referred to and you don't recover with the medicine, then you can go and see a doctor.
Oh, by the way, Japanese actually point out that why nursery care in Malaysia is popular for them to retire and still can able to hire, right? Is because nursery care in Japan is very expensive. Not everyone can afford.
Yeah, that's why a lot of nursery as in
Ah,
for old folks, is it?
old folks. Like imagine you have to hire a nurse to take care of you 24/7 at home. That's gonna be
But
expensive.
I don't know, but looking at it, right? It's like I have a lot of Japanese friends which are older, like 70 plus, 60 plus, 80 plus. They are actually quite independent per se. Their kids are never with them. Their kids are usually they're usually staying in Naka. In Naka means like kampong areas. And the kids will be working in Chiba, in Tokyo and stuff like that. So they are like quite independent. They stay themselves, you know. So yeah, I'm not I don't think they really need like nursery care, but if they need, that's definitely very expensive. Then definitely.
Oh, because this is out of the survey that is being done to the Japanese who retire because you may not know what's gonna happen next, right? So what if we are no longer fit to walk and we need someone to take care of me? So before it happened, at least I already settled myself in Malaysia, and if that really happens, it's okay. I can just easily find a nurse that can serve me because this service is actually very common in Malaysia. Yeah, so that is what they say lah. Which I think
True.
I somehow agree because in
Agree. Yeah.
Malaysia we do have a lot of private nurses who does this.
True.
Yeah. Okay, so next. Number 3, this is also what we said earlier. Japanese may not be able to afford retirement in Malaysia.
In
Why?
Japan.
In Japan. In Japan. Japanese welcome to Malaysia because you may somehow not be able to afford retirement in Japan. Your cost of living is very, very high, no end. In fact, you're having a deflation. You're constantly having headache because of the stress level. Okay, and you forever won't be able to balance out your work-life balance. Your work will always
Definitely.
be heavier, right? Family is
Yeah.
always on the lighter side. Yeah.
Especially for the guys. But
Definitely.
a lot of ladies are actually the scene are changing. A lot of ladies are actually coming out to. I have friends who actually like the wife is coming out to work as well, but they are on like a part-time basis, or not really say part-time. They are full-time, but they only required to come to work like 3 days. Like there's especially like profession like nurses. So I have a friend who is a nurse. So she needs to log in like because her kids also grown up a little bit already independent in some way, like primary school, secondary school, do not really need her care too much. So when they go to school, she still can go for a few hours of work as a nurse in a hospital for like she has to log in about 3 times minimum. That's it. Yeah.
3 times, which is half of the working time, right? Half of the working time.
They just log in like as a full-time employer, but part-time logging, yeah, it's like 3 times. But they're professional. Nurse is considered a professionals as well, right?
So I guess the job flexibility is already there in Japan. I think they
Definitely
foresee
they are.
their threat, the threat
Yeah,
of people not
definitely.
being able to work full force.
They are also definitely changing a lot these days. Like last time, no one want to be an entrepreneur there, you know. Like, but nowadays, the younger generation, you can see a lot of startups in Japan and stuff like that. But of course, the generations are changing as well.
Yep, correct. And we have a visitor here. Hi, Jonah. Good evening
Hi,
to you as well. It's been a while.
Jonah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Japanese here. So why Japan choose Malaysia, right? It's because of the stress level, like what Yvonne said, but hopefully that they can actually sort out the flexible working hours. Like it has become a very, very normal thing in Malaysia.
Yep.
I have a lot of friends who are benefiting from the flexible working hours and flexible working environment. Yeah. But
Definitely.
for Japanese to really embrace this kind of lifestyle, I foresee that it may take them a while because they are a very traditional country. Yeah, but
Yeah.
let's not discount the fact. Okay. So let me show you an example, right? Why Japan. Okay, number 4. Japanese stressful life and deflation may also affect the youth to continue to live in Japan. Yeah, so not only that they cannot retire in Japan maybe, but to even live in Japan itself, right, is very stressful. Why? Then I suggest you to go and watch this anime called 𝗟𝗏𝘃𝗁 on Netflix if you
Critical.
have a Netflix. Yeah. Iwan, you watch this, right?
No, I have no Netflix. Thank you for introducing
I
me
see, I
this
see, I see. Okay,
aggressive
you know what?
critical.
Uh, my one of my friends visited me last week, and then she
Mm-hmm.
told me you need to watch this.
Cool.
So
I will go
I
and
was
watch it.
wondering what is this all about, right? So, when I watched this, actually, it is a very fun anime because one season itself is only 8 episodes to 10.
Yeah, it's
Every
very
episode
short
is
as
only
well.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
So
short.
imagine
Uh,
you're having a short lunch and then you just watch one episode like that. It's
yeah,
very entertaining. And you know what? After you watch it, you just can't stop watching it. Luckily, it's
and
only
I
8 episodes.
and I watched it aggressive reticle. So agree is actually aggressive as well.
Okay.
Reticle. Yeah,
So let me tell you a
aggressive.
little bit story about this anime why you should watch, right? Okay, it's
Okay.
actually talking about a 26-year-old office lady in Japan.
Okay.
Okay, her first job. Okay, every day she go to work like this, just like any other body. You just your boss asks you to do this pile of paperwork, just do it. No questions asked. There's no, you know, and there's no chatting happening all around as well. But what happened is that even though they meet up with people around, they're also as polite and they wouldn't say no as well.
So true.
Okay, so why they call it aggressive is actually because, right, on surface these cartoon characters, these anime characters look like, oh, they are very soothing and all, but deep down, right, they have this kind of emotion that's actually hidden in them.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
true.
so actually this anime will show the two emotions of the Japanese. One is on the surface, the other one is how they scream to themselves in the heart. And for this main character, right, her only outlet is actually via karaoke. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's very interesting. Like the boss power abuse, like how their income is never enough to keep up with their expenses. How going for a wedding also can cause you to become so broke. How not getting a
Yeah.
boyfriend is a threat there. And
Oh,
then
yeah. If 28 years old, you do not have a boyfriend. So 28 years old is like a taboo age, right? If
26,
we see a lot,
26, 26.
20, 28, 28. 28 is, yeah,
Oh,
the age,
28. I see,
is
I see.
the age where you still don't have a boyfriend at 28. Oh my God. That
Ah,
kind
so
of things, right?
so a lot more, like there were a few episodes. It's also about how the elder Japanese is not able to apologize as well. Got this kind of culture, yeah,
Yeah, so true.
and about their self esteem as well. They may look like very very polite, but deep down, right, they question themselves a lot. But
Mm.
because Japanese culture, you're not supposed to question yourself. Like people ask you to do certain thing, you're just supposed to own up and do. But that actually poses a threat towards the youth as well in Malaysia, in Japan, because they are not vulnerable. So, in fact, this actually caused them to be really, really low in confidence, which may not be a healthy lifestyle you see in the long run. Can you imagine if you were to say yes, yes, yes every single day, right? So, how stressful it is. There
True.
were two episodes that she couldn't say no, that she struggled a lot. So, yeah, so this anime is really the real life example of how Japanese people live. You want
So true.
strongly
So true.
suggest you to get a Netflix account and just watch this.
Okay, I will definitely for
Yeah,
this.
interesting, right? Interesting.
Yeah,
Very, very
very
nice.
interesting.
If Chanel, a person who doesn't watch anime, watch this, yeah, everyone who is listening out there, please watch this if you want to know more about Japanese culture.
Yeah, aggressive
Yeah.
Retsuko. I will
Yeah. So
definitely
the
watch
name
this.
of this series is called Aggressive Retsuko. Egg Retsuko. Yeah, she
Regretted.
also come from accounting department. She was in the accounting department. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So,
Like you.
very much about the Japanese culture. That's why now that I portray about this anime, right, then you will know why Malaysia is actually so much better. Because in
Mm.
Malaysia, we don't really face all these kind of stresses. Our stress level is a little bit different, but not as stressful as all this, right? That's
Especially
why,
kids nowadays, the new generation, I find that it's very different. They will say no, you don't, I don't like. I will just
mm,
quit. It's so different from my generations. Like even
yeah,
for Malaysian, we don't quit like simply, but the
I only
generation now
learned
are.
to say no like in during these recent years, not during my childhood per se.
Mm, yeah, so true.
Yeah. And Aki from Japan actually also mentioned a few more examples about why he also chose to live in Malaysia in the long term, right? So one of it is definitely bank account. He said, after I came here, my bank account is actually so much more relaxed.
But he's earning a lot from YouTube as well. So
Not only that lah, I think his company
mm,
also pay him in USD if not mistaken. So it's
mm,
different. That means
yeah,
he is still earning
yeah,
that Japan kind of income, but he's
yeah.
spending here. Um but yeah, earning from
YouTube
YouTube
is
as well.
YouTube is very very popular. I've been watching him for a few years now. So yeah.
You know what, Yvonne? Don't be surprised that maybe there are Japanese who still earn the same income as any other Malaysian here, but they one thing that they have luxury is they have the luxury of time to build their pipeline in Malaysia. That's the beauty of it.
Exactly. Yeah. In there,
Ah,
no way you can. I mean, it takes so long
no
for you to
way. Work one job
Yeah.
is like working for three full-time job in
Yeah,
Japan.
because it's also the transportation as well. It takes up a lot of your time, your work, and
Mm,
you can do like then your family time don't have no. That's why
yeah.
yeah, that's very bad. Yeah, you don't have
I think no
time
family
for.
time lah. In Japan, if you want to side
Mm.
hustle, the only thing is to stay single, that's it.
Stay single. Yeah.
Sorry, sorry. Okay, not only that, he says, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." He's the one who said 40 degrees in Japan. Can you imagine our summer?
Very bad. I mean, I don't enjoy Japan. I don't enjoy Japan's summer at all. No, not at all.
Mm.
It's so hot, so hot.
Yeah,
Then yeah.
and then because coming from a country with four seasons into just a country with summer all year long, right? He said, oh, he saved up so much
Much on
money
the
on
clothing.
clothes.
I know, and your
Correct.
electricity bills as well. I
Oh
mean, in Japan,
yeah.
every turn of a season, you have to buy new clothes. Of course, you can wear back your old ones as well, but then you have to, there's during April, there's like the in China, so the same. There's this thing called 梅雨. So there's this season where you're going to change into summer. It's going to raining. It's where that's where you're going to take all your blanket out. That it's very too humid that some of your blankets all will become moldy, and that's the time when people will take it out and all hanging and let the sheets have some fresh air and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot of things to need to do when there's four seasons. Of course, it's very nice, of
Mm.
course, but then again, there's a lot of if you stay there long enough, there's a lot of things you need to do as well. Yeah, and like here, every time same
Yeah,
clothing also no problem.
correct. We can all wear the thin material. Don't have to worry about those sweater that is so thick, wear too cheap and all that. Yeah, be blessed
True,
with our weather.
true.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
only that, he said our country barely
Natu-
have any natural disaster, which is a good
Though,
thing.
yeah, though we
Like
just
what
had
Iwan
one.
said, all Japanese need to have three app. One of the app is earthquake app.
Earthquake, yeah.
My
It's one of them is
goodness.
earthquake. I experienced earthquake as well. Yeah, so it's like that teach me a lesson that I need to even at home when I was staying in Japan, I need to be well dressed a little bit because you do not know when it happened. So was sleeping and it was I think 8 something in the morning. My husband went to work already, so I was at home. Then suddenly you feel the whole thing is like shaking. It's like for few seconds stop, then few seconds again stop, then few seconds again stop. So then I got to know a trick that everyone in Japan actually usually they have I don't know how often, but they will have a cup with water. So when you see that the water inside the cup is shaking, then you know that it is earthquake. And small earthquake are pretty common apparently in Japan. So no sweat, nothing to shout about. Yeah.
Yeah, even though Malaysia recently had our flood, but it's actually not common. The
Yeah.
flood
The
was
last
actually
one was
caused by the typhoon that happened in our neighbor
cyclone,
countries.
right? Yeah, the
Yeah, the
cyclone thing. But
cyclone.
it's only like they say
Yeah.
the last was like 70s, but I think not really 70s. In the 90s also we have floods. We have floods as well. Yeah, so not so long ago lah. Maybe, but recent years we really do not have any heavy floods in KL. Really don't have. This is like really bad.
Because it is unnatural for Malaysia to have continuous rain during the end of the year. That's why they actually analyzed that the rain was caused by cyclone, but in fact Malaysia wasn't the worst country that experienced it. Our neighbor countries actually experienced more damages than us lah. But to keep that in mind, because that is not something usual, I still want to
Yeah.
give credit back to Malaysia as well. If our rubbish management is actually better, I don't see a threat in our country at the moment yet. I strongly believe that the flood could be avoided by two factors. One is the weather department,
Yep.
because they actually got this signal 1 month ago. And the second one is probably we as Malaysian, we really need to take care of our environment. If rubbish is actually meant to be thrown into rubbish bin, please go ahead and do so, and not into your drain, not into your river nearby your house. That's 2 cents from me. Yeah. I
Yeah.
strongly believe
Exactly.
that we all have the same responsibility to take care of our home country lah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so uh this is what he said, but how about the checklist for the houses that if you want to target for Japanese? Now that we know, okay, Japanese definitely they have interest to migrate to Malaysia for retirement. So how about the checklist? And the checklist is actually something that you want stay firm with it. So let's allow you want to explain this part on the checklist. Yeah, number one.
I specifically told Chanel to add this on. It's a bathtub.
Every time she told me, Chanel, remember
Yeah,
this. Remember this.
because it is a couch. Bathtub is a culture in Japan. It's something where a family does it together sometimes, and it's something where to relax their because they walk a lot, so they need to release their muscle as well. So having a bathtub in Japan is very common. It is not every household almost. So if you really want to rent your house to Japanese, I think one of the first criteria is a bathtub. So even
No
your
need to rent,
property,
guys. If you want to
yeah,
sell to Japanese,
yeah,
these are also the ideas. Yeah, it covers for rent and also selling.
yeah. If you really want to target on Japanese, I think a bathtub is a must. So if you do not have one, you go and fix one up. Then I think usually that is the tick point for number one.
Yeah, mark down your answer, guys. Number two.
This one is extra lah. This one beaded. This system is like, if you have, it's good lah. Because Japan, because it's very cold during winter. That's why they need to heat up the chair. It's not really 100%. And you know that because in Japan, right, the toilet and the bath is separated very very is separated. So that's why last time my house we have our toilet at one side and our shower at another side, because we have two. It's just like that. And of course all these things is a must. So because we are very cultured. I mean, Malaysian generally girls are also even as a girl, I also prefer that, like when you go to toilet, you want and there's a sound that covers up the other sound. So I think it's very very good as well. So Japanese created this thing, yeah. And heater is a
But
must
what do
during
you mean
winter.
by the sound?
Okay, this machine here, you can see that there's a sound actually. So when you on that, right, it's like a
Oh.
water flush sound. So the water flush sound will actually cover. It's not water flush per se. It's just a sound. It's just a music. So for you to
Oh,
cover
so
up
it will
your
cover the sound of you making your business.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
so not so
that's the
awkward in a way.
purpose. Not so awkward. Yeah, more
That is
not so
very
shy
smart.
lah.
I never know how it functions. Now I know.
Then there's of course there's a beard to wash as well. And
Yeah.
the top part is in Japan is like the usually where last time my house the at the top where usually we flush our water there is actually there's a what you call it as a tap. So for us to wash our hand, the hand will go down and flush the thing. The flush it's work as to flush the water as well. So yeah, so there's a lot of
Mm. Oh, I think
usage.
I've seen that actually.
Mm.
I think that's a very good usage of water.
And there's also other things here lah. So that's just the few main thing that the function of this chair. But of course, I went to one house in
Of course,
Japanese, rented to a Japanese.
you-
They don't they don't
if
really
you
have this machine. Whose line is bad? I'm not sure. Are we losing Chanel? Are we losing me? Are we losing Chanel? Anyone can help us? Who are we losing? Is it Yvonne or is it Chanel? Because I'm not sure who is, but anyway, I really do not know who are we losing now. But yeah.
okay, I'm back.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's
So
me.
it's you. Okay.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, all right. It was me.
okay, cool.
Okay, so how about this one?
Yeah. This one is a system where in Japan, right, the intercom system, usually they will hire and they will usually hire another company to fix it. It's like not like us, we don't really have like an intercom per se. We have CCTV and stuff like that, right? But it's not linked to a company. Japan is very different. Japan's intercom system is linked to an intercom company. So if anything happen, right, the
Mm,
intercom company will get the first alert. It's a very you have to pay monthly. It's not cheap as well, but it's to keep your house safe. So yeah, it's a monthly maintenance thing or a yearly maintenance thing because this system is not like our system. This system their system is very linked to a company that actually has
mm,
controlled the whole. They'll be alert immediately.
mm. So I guess because Japanese is very safe, but coming to Malaysia, especially if they stay in landed or maybe sometimes condo, it may not be very safe for them. So if you happen to be the investor, you want to flip your property and sell to Japanese or you want to rent to Japanese expat, you may want to consider having some sort of security system in place for them.
Yeah, if your condo has
I
this
don't
system,
think
it's very good.
yeah,
Mm.
I don't think Malaysia is very common to have that link intercom system with a company. But
Yeah,
I
not
think at
really.
least you have something like this, like at least as an intercom system, like when someone ring the bell, they from inside they can actually intercom with the person outside, and they have
Yeah,
CCTV, they have emergency, they have alarm system. At least
yeah.
it's actually some a very good added value for Japanese. At least you
And the
know that
Japan
their safety is taken care of. Yeah.
And the Japanese, I mean, Malaysia, so some of the houses has so like there's a camera in it, there's the screen in your house that can see the person that's ringing the bell. So that's also
Mm.
one system if you want to rent to to Japanese, and there's a one system that you need to add on as well. It's like meaning that
Mm.
you can see who is actually ringing the bell. So that's also very good because the Japanese has this.
Yeah, landlord, take note, take note. It's a good
Landlord.
investment for you to add all
Mm.
this. Number four, this is also
Oh, Muji.
what my partner really emphasized on the
Yeah, yeah.
Muji concept.
The Muji style, huh? I think it is very true. The Muji, even the Japanese are basically a very Muji style. They are going towards the minimalized. And they are all the while been very
Mm.
minimalized, yes. But yeah, the Muji style will be at a plus point. I mean, actually, you don't need
Who
to really go.
invented the minimalist concept? Japanese.
Yeah, right. So it's a Japanese. I mean, the wood part. I mean, if you really do it well, right? I mean, Malaysia is full of it is famous for wood, right? Of course, you don't need to buy from Muji particular because 𝗬𝗁 is also very expensive as well. But then again, you can get some of the ideas from there. Malaysia has very good wood as well. So, but yeah, generally minimalize is the key to renting out to Japanese as well.
And to create that atmosphere, don't have to be very expensive. In fact, most of my hostel now are very, very minimally style as well, because that is a trend that a lot of young people love. Of
Yeah,
course, with a hint of
definitely.
certain warmth as well, with different colors that we do. But
Yeah.
minimalist is something that it wouldn't go out of trend,
Mm.
because it's made out of neutral colors, right? If
Yeah.
people who like strong colors, even though they pop in their strong accent color furniture, it will still look
Mm-hmm.
fine in the bedroom. That's why
Yeah, it's
Japanese love them.
if you put plain and you throw in a lot of colorful thing, it'll be very Scandinavian. You know, Scandinavian like
Correct,
Swedish. They
correct.
all like IKEA. They're always the things are very the furnitures are very very clean
Neutral
color.
in color.
Yeah, we call it 𝗬𝗁. 𝗬𝗁 is something like 地色 is like very nature color like brown. That's why you see if you go to 𝗬𝗁 today, you will see like very 𝗬𝗁 is like brown, like white, like gray. These are very clean colors per se. A very natural color. So it's, if you want to add on, the basic is these colors, then you want to throw in a lot of colors. It's so very nice because you can go with any other color, but these are nature color. So like you want to throw in a lot of things that it looks a bit warm, like the Scandinavian, like IKEA and stuff like that. Yeah.
So one very good reference is definitely 𝗬𝗁. You can go in and have a look. Don't necessarily need to buy their stuff. Another one, you realize or not, Uniqlo also have a very 𝗬𝗁 style for their clothing, for example. You see, clothes
Colors.
also can be 𝗬𝗁 style, you know, the colors and all that. Very
Yeah.
earthy color, very neutral
It,
color. They
it's a Japanese color where usually, right, Japanese housewife, once they are married, they usually goes for 𝗬𝗁, very the neutral colors. So you can see that all housewife in Japan will go for neutral colors. They not like pink, or these are using during the Harajuku style. But once you are married, then you have to go on to a very natural color. This is their culture
in
as
fact, I
well.
realized their royal family also love to wear neutral color. You know, the
Very
royal
neutral.
princess recently who got married to the commoner,
Yeah,
her
yeah.
clothing, right? I observed that the clothes that she wear are mostly neutral colors. Even though it's
Yeah.
purple color, it can be very light purple,
Very
light
pastel.
blue,
They will go
very
for pastel.
pastel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pastel colors.
never a time that I've seen her in strong color before.
Yeah, they don't
Never.
usually do that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't.
So I guess that kind of portray how soft they are. They are not like those person who really will be
Shout
there
out.
to make a statement. Correct, correct. They're not the person who will shout out. Yeah. So that's why
True.
their behavior speaks a lot about their preferences as well. That's why if your house can make it into a 𝗬𝗁 concept, congratulations to you. You can also attract them as well.
Yeah, actually to do 𝗬𝗁 concept is actually way more, it's actually quite
It's
easy as
cheap,
well, to cheap and easy. If you are I won't say like particularly very
easy to
cheap, but
pair with furnitures also.
yeah,
Very
yeah, it's
easy.
very easy. Rather than you go and put in a lot of things and to do a lot of renovation. Actually, you don't need to do a lot of renovation for Japanese houses. It's just plain. So
But
yeah,
don't
think
too
about
plain
it.
until nothing there lah, right? So
I mean, the tenant will add on their stuff. You see, the tenant will come and they will add on their plants. They will do the things them. They will add on their Japanese stuff inside the kitchen. But for you to get to allow them to do their stuff, you just need to give them a very clean environment, clean color for them to add on
don't
their.
pandai go and add a accent feature wall that's very European
Yeah,
style lah, huh?
no,
Don't
don't do it.
pandai.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
don't pandai, like suddenly a red color wall or blue color wall. No,
It may be a
don't.
turn off for them. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Maybe
too
you like
strong.
it. Maybe you like
Yeah,
it, but not them.
not definitely not them. Yeah.
Okay, so number 5, owens. Owens are
this
a must as well.
oh this is one of my favorite because in Japan houses there's this grill. I'm not sure whether y'all see it before. This is part of the setting. Not every household has this, by the way. So this is one of the things that is to grill fish. So it's just a very small
Why?
drawer.
Actually, what has that got to do with owens actually? I mean,
It's actually not an oven per se. It's just a grill. It's a grill, it looks like an oven, but it's like a small little drawer that for you to cook fish, because fish is a very strong odor. Strong odor, right? So, and they eat fish very, very often. So it's just a very small compartment. It's like a small little drawer. So that drawer is easy to wash as well. So you need to open your whole oven, and you need to heat up the whole oven. And heating up is very expensive in Japan as well. In Malaysia as well. Come on, heating up an oven it take a long time, and it take a lot of power. So it's very costly. So this one is very small. It's very easy to heat up, very fast. So you just pull the drawer out, and you put your fish inside there, and it's like what you see now. It's exactly like that. It's a very small drawer. It's just like a 𝗬𝗃. So yeah,
it's the same as what we are seeing right now.
Yeah. It's not a whole oven per se. This is a very small drawer for the fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something that I really might.
Is it because fresh catches are easily found in Japan? That's why fish is one of the common dishes in Japan. That's why they needed this oven so much.
They don't say that they need it, like it's good to have, but not every, as I say, not every household has it. So yeah, fish, of course, it's an island, right? So it's fish is one of the main food. No, they have it in breakfast. Like if you see the Japanese household for breakfast is usually a fish and a rice and a miso soup. Yeah, so it's a very common thing to eat. Yeah.
So if you want them to stay in your house long enough, do make sure that you have this oven get ready for them so that they will stay with you for years and want to leave.
But I'm not sure whether do we have this function, but I think perhaps some expensive brands would have particularly this one. But yeah, we can ask around.
Yeah, probably we can. It's not a norm. It's today is my first time hearing it.
Oh really? It's definitely not in Japan. Not everyone has it lah.
Yeah, not common. All right. So now that we have gone through the must-have in a home that you want to propose to Japanese, do drop us a message with more stuff. We're actually just listing out the 5 things that we think is really very important. So the key question here for those of you who's actually very much into property, you want to target the Japanese people, or you are a property agent yourself, you want to see how to attract the Japanese. Now, the next question is actually where do the Japanese stay in Malaysia? Before I go into it, Yvonne, you want to guess a few places? Or any one of you in Facebook Live?
There's few like in 𝗬𝗁 because the Japanese International School is there. Penang is one of them. Mount 𝗟𝗏 is definitely one of them. Yeah, last time used to be Ampang, because Ampang used to, during the 90s, there's a lot of Japanese, the embassy is there, and there's a lot of Japanese mini market over there. But now it has kind of like taken over by the Koreans. So yeah, but I think still goes back to 𝗬𝗁 area and also Mount 𝗟𝗏. Maybe there's more than that. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. The first place, Mount 𝗟𝗏.
Definitely.
And 𝗂𝘁𝗃, not 𝗂𝘁𝗃. Yeah. So why these 2 areas, right? Actually, there are few reasons behind. Number one, because these 2 places, they actually have a lot of original Japanese restaurants around.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of Japanese restaurants around, but they are all franchises, and the taste may not be as original as their home country, right? But these 2 places actually serve the best Japanese food in Malaysia as well. So that's why it's actually very close back to their own culture. So they feel quite belonged staying in these areas. Of course, like what Yvonne say, actually 𝗬𝗁 also can be also one of their top pick. But according to the Malaysian geographical searches, actually these 2 places have the most. Yeah. So I suggest that if you have more doubts about where they stay, right, you can actually go and search around as well. But these 2 are actually the most popular one. And number 1 is a restaurant nearby, and second one, how about second one? This is actually what we said just now. The tour package, the tourism, hospital tourism, medical tourism. Okay. But I think that is actually one another one that I will show later. But one thing about Malaysia is that we have really good, reliable medical services with Japanese hospitality, and this is actually one of the clinic that offers Japanese website. Like their website, right? You can choose to get it in English, Japanese, or whatsoever. And then for a Japanese who come here, they can actually book this clinic with them. And actually, the good thing about this clinic is that they are located in areas like Mont Cara, like what you want to say, Penang. Penang happens to be the spot for them as well. They have it in 𝗂𝘃 and a few more places that are actually very concentrated with Japanese expats all around. You
Yeah.
imagine
Before
coming
that,
to Malaysia?
just let me do an apologies first, yeah, because I know trap is a very for parks thing to say. So we will not use this word anymore. It's supposed to be Japanese. Yeah, I know it's a very crude word to the Japanese. So we first and foremost need to apologize for the word jab first. Yeah. So let's continue.
Okay, let me remove it first.
Yeah, I know because it is a very Japanese do not, because during the of the war and stuff like that, there's a period of time where they call them a jab. So it is a very crude and very rude word to use, jab, to Japanese, and they're very very sensitive towards this word. I know. So yeah, we will do it immediately because we
No
are on live
worries, no
now.
worries. That's why we
Yep.
learn from mistakes every single day.
We learn from mistake every single, and we learn about people's culture every single day as well. That's beautiful of being able to internet and stuff like that, that we can actually network and knowing other people's culture. I mean, we have our own four parks as well. So goes to every culture has their own four parks. So it's very good that we have this opportunity to learn about each other's culture. So yeah. For those that Japanese, if there's a Japanese watching here, we first and foremost need to apologize first. Yep, and we will
Yeah,
change it back immediately.
Japanese follow. Yeah.
Yay! So it's back.
Yeah, imagine going to a foreign country whereby we can speak Malay, and then they actually have a translator, a Malay translator, interpreter in front of you who can speak Malay to you 24/7.
Wow.
Wow, isn't it
Yeah,
great?
exactly.
You feel very welcoming, right? It's like you
Yeah.
go very well in the country, at another country, and you still get that feel, the sensation, the hospitality. That's
Yeah,
why.
my husband, when he's working in Japan, he has a translator that follow him to meetings. So when he go and see client, there's always they have to book the translator, and normally the translator will follow them to for meetings and do their interpreting. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. That's why this area actually have that, and not only that, another company that has that is Summer Medical Center.
Definitely, all
Ma-
hospitals here has their department to do interpreter, Japanese interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, because Japanese has become one of the largest the largest. So in Simon Medical, once you actually walk into their
Yeah,
new
I think
tower there, right, there is a Japanese kiosk one whereby
yeah,
uh
I know,
yeah,
right?
whereby if you
Yeah.
need the interpretation, you can actually approach them and things like that. And
Yeah.
under Sunway, actually one thing that is very popular is that medical tourism. Yeah, so if you're coming from Indonesia and Japan, you don't have to worry. They have like a package, like maybe a few 3 days 2 nights. They will give you the hotel deals. They'll make sure that after you land in Malaysia, you can just go to their hotel to stay, and then you come here. The appointment's already made, and then the interpreter is actually following up with you and things like that. You know what's actually going on and things like that. So this kind of hospitality, there are certain hospitals and medical centers around all these expat kiosks are ready. That's why
Yeah.
Japanese are
It's
actually looking
ever
for all this
ready.
support.
Because it's very convenient, and yeah, like a lot of my friends as doctor, they are also like, oh, do you want to be an interpreter, to be a Japanese interpreter? I say no, not medical. Because medical field, you need to know a certain jargon, the industrial jargon. So not everyone can be one, but there's a lot in Malaysia that can do interpreter in medical field. So that's why we are one of the most sought after tourism hospital tourism as well.
Yeah, and for this Hibari clinic, one
Mm.
of their why you need to choose us, one of their USP is that even though your diagnosis, your follow-up procedure or any surgery you have an interpreter who actually will explain very detailed to you.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so you know that there wouldn't be any miscommunication. Your health is already in safe hands, right? So
yeah.
you will eliminate all those possibility that the doctor make a wrong decision because they don't understand me.
And also, you know why Malaysians are so good at Japanese language is also, first thing first, our English is in the region is pretty much good. Second thing is also because Malaysian Chinese, a lot of us can speak and read Chinese. And you know that if you want to study at a higher level Japanese, right, you need to know your Chinese wording, which is your kanji. So that makes
Mm.
Malaysia such a sought after country. Like you go Thai, but Thai cannot read Chinese. So for them to learn Japanese, there's certain difficulty as well. They cannot go very high up. So I salute those that can really go to a higher level. Like you go to other countries like Indonesia, for example, they also many of them they do not study Chinese, so that's where they very hard to go further level at Japanese. But Malaysia, right, a lot of us we can speak Chinese, we can read Chinese. That makes us like one of the most sought after. A lot of us can learn Japanese easily, and a lot of the here people can read and write and become an interpreter in Malaysia. That's one of the reason as well.
Yeah, correct. So if you happen to wonder, restaurant is not a bad idea. Like we are surrounded by Japanese restaurants in Klang Valley. So the second
Mm.
property, if let's say you want to really target Japanese expats or Japanese migrants, is probably places with advanced Japanese hospitality like this, places that offer medical packages like this. Yeah, you can actually
Yep.
target them. Yeah. And
Mm.
also, Japanese are also into, because once they have migrated here, they definitely want something quite similar to their home country for relaxing as well. So if you can find something quite similar to their Japanese relaxation kind of spa treatment, it's also an added value, but this is not a necessity, I would say. Mont Cara have a lot of this kind of spas area for them.
Yeah, a lot. KL
Mm.
area a lot. Mm.
That's why they actually feel belong there. Okay. I think this is actually a very crucial one for Japanese international school. Don't you agree, Yvonne?
Those that are parents are expatriates that surely going back to Japan one, they will usually put their kids in Japanese international school, which is in 𝗧𝗏 area. That's why I mentioned 𝗧𝗏 just now, because that school is only for
Mm.
Japanese that their parents is going back one day to Japan. But nowadays I also see another trend in Japanese is like they don't mind uh, they might not even go back to Japan. So these parents will send their kids to either international school, which is like in the UK or US syllabus. So yeah, that's also becoming a trend. But unlike last time, where the Japanese come here, they come for 3 years maybe, they come for 5 years maybe, but eventually they need to go back to Japan. So that's where their Japanese international school, the syllabus is on par in Japan. So anytime they want to go back home, they can straight away go back home and continue their studies there. No sweat. It's no sweat. So they can just straight
Mm.
away going back there. It's very easy, the transition. Yeah. So
Mm.
but
I
like
see.
a
I
lot of my
see.
Japanese friends here, they don't really go back to Japanese international school. I ask them why. Because they say they might not even want to go back to Japan anymore. They want to stay here. So they just they just enroll their kids to other stream like the US one or the UK stream. They don't really care anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good one. But at least you know that if they have kids, definitely they'll put them into international schools.
Definitely
They
it's a
won't put them into national schools, right?
definite unless one of your has your spouse is a local, then perhaps they might, but if they are both Japanese, then most likely it's still an international school. Yeah.
Mm. I see. So if you happen to invest into a property that nearby don't have the Japanese international school, don't have to feel bad about it, because international school is also the next one that they're actually looking after. Yeah. Okay. So this number 4. How about number 5? Okay. Is
Yeah,
this a
so true
nice to
this one.
have or is this a must to have, Yvonne?
For the Japanese, I think it's more comfortable to have because the way you are served in Japan in the hair salon is very different from here. They might not be used to the service here in Malaysia, because I experienced it few times in Japan to cut my hair. It's very the service is very different, very, very different. So of course, having I think it's a must, because it's your appearance, right? So you want to communicate with your hairstylist, but your hairstylist don't get you. It also can be quite trouble as well. So of course, if like hair salon, which is Japanese based, then whatever hairstyle you want is easily communicated with your hairstylist. So I think it's a must rather than a need. It's a need to, in my opinion.
Actually, this one is being taken by a Japanese cultured hair salon. Let's not talk about the brand. Yeah,
I know.
me and Yvonne also have been there for a couple of times. So yeah, so I actually somehow agree with Yvonne, because the feeling of you being served here as compared to a local salon is very different. Okay,
Especially
so it seems
the
like we have already
language.
covered. Yeah, and I think most of the salon hairstylists in Malaysia don't speak Japanese, but at least it's the feeling, the sense of hospitality that they actually give to the customers, actually. Right. I think more towards that.
Yeah. But I
Okay,
mean, of
so
course,
there
our
you go.
hairstylists,
Sorry?
our Malaysian hairstylists are very, very good as well, definitely. But it's just a language barrier, that's all.
Sure. Yeah, so guys, let's do a little bit of recap. So just now we actually did know why the Japanese love Malaysia, because you got to know why they love here before they can move here. Second part of our content today is about where sorry, not where, what is the must have in a house if you want to target the Japanese. And right now the third category that we're actually doing here right now is where they stay and why. Yeah, because why they stay, if you can find somewhere similar that offer these 5 factors, then maybe you can also consider investing in those properties to offer to the
Yeah.
Japanese as well.
And higher chances being rented out to that. And you know that renting to a Japanese is usually paid by the company. So the rental might be a higher for, if they like your place, then definitely the price value is not something that they look into. It's anyhow cheaper than Japan. So yeah. So they definitely will choose yours over the others if you can meet the criteria we listed just now.
Yeah, of course, all these external factors like salon, like international school, the spa,
Good to have.
the service, medical services, and the Japanese restaurant is not something that we can control. But if you have, that's very good. So what we can control is, in fact, all these things like you as an owner, bathtub install shouldn't be a very, very expensive. The bidet, the toilet bowl with the built-in bidet, if it's not too expensive to break your bank, then you can proceed. This one is very, very important. If you want to attract the tenant, you can also proceed. This one is not that expensive. You can proceed. And how about this one? If you can find, then it's a very, very good point as well. So you have to see that, like, these are the costs, yes, but if you see the value of the cost, so it's actually something that is worth for you to put in as well.
Yep. If you really want to rent out to the Japanese, I think really these are the things that you really need to look into.
And with that, let's get ready to welcome more Japanese into MM2H today. Let's make our country become their comfortable retirement home for the next few decades to come.
Yeah.
So if you have
Yep.
any questions and answer, feel free to email us. The email address is actually down there on the roller banner, right? So feel free to email to us and actually tell us, okay, Chanel and Yvonne, what is my question after listening to your sharing today? Which area I want to invest, or what kind of problems that you have, feel free to actually ping us. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you are not a person who likes to email, you can also check us out and also text us over the WhatsApp. Okay, tell us your problem. And
Chanel is stuck a little bit. Let me continue. That is Chanel's detail, and that's my information. Even though you missed this one, you can just scroll back to the end and have a look at our details. So of course, two of us have YouTube channel, and Chanel's YouTube is youtube.com/chanel.com /Chanel Chong, where she will be sharing a lot on finance, which is today's topic, pocket financial, a lot of finance, a lot of insurance. She's also sharing a lot of property as well. So if you are an expatriate, like you are listening now, you're Japanese or you are from other part of the world and you want to make Malaysia your second home, I think she's one of the best person because she's into finance, she's into insurance, she's into property, and she's definitely the person to look for, right? So as for me, I'm a Japanese tutor. You need any Japanese friends to talk to, you need me to teach your kids. I specialize in teaching kids, and if you need to learn a little about Japan, you need some interpreter or translator, yeah, you can look out for us, Japanese Play Group. So yeah, two of us is a very we'll meet your, two of us add together will meet your needs. So yeah, Janelle is back.
I like that statement. I like that statement. But I want to clarify a little bit. I am not property is not really my forte. Okay, but my major is mainly into property rental management. That is actually very focused into room rental. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, Japanese, they love to preserve their privacy as well. So it's not a common thing for Japanese to like to have their home under a room rental to share a common area. It may not be a common for them.
Yeah, but not in Malaysia. But sometimes now in Japan, there's a lot of they are also practicing
in
Airbnb.
Japan, yes. In Japan, yes.
Come
But
to
living
Malaysia,
together
no.
with fellow Malaysian, it may not be a top one choice for them.
If they're student, maybe. If Japanese student coming here to study, yeah, perhaps so.
But I have Korean, I have Chinese and Indonesian tenants before. They are all very, very get along people with the local here. They are fine, but so far not Japanese yet. Yeah. So that's why we are actually sharing all these topics out because Yvonne used to stay in Japan. She knew the Japan culture a lot. And secondly, we are also property investors ourselves. We are very much into investors as well. So if you are a property agent and if you have more opinions about that, if there is room that you think there are more points that you wish to share to the audience as well, you can also always welcome to ping us, to let us know, and maybe we can have another session about that as well. Yeah.
Yep.
This session today may not be conclusive, but you may actually take them into consideration if you want to target the Japanese.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a fun presentation. Something very
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we will see you next year. Bye-bye.
Oh, next year? Oh, seriously? After this is next year.
Next year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
See you next year, 2022.
See you next year, guys. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Hello, welcome to the 100x Connects community. Let me take you through the 100x ecosystem. Step 1. Become a free or paid member. Step 2. Discover your passion by tuning into the 100x daily night sessions, chatting with other members in the 100x Discord community, and participate in 100x virtual summits. Step 3. Unleash your true potential by equipping yourself with 100x workshops and work with you challenges. Step 4. Begin your entrepreneurial journey by signing up for the Malaysia Ministry-endorsed 100x 100 Days Business Startup Challenge, seeking business advice, or enrolling in the advanced business coaching for pitching and funding. Step 5. Being the country's best entrepreneur community, 100x has a wealth of resources such as business funding to accelerate your business, digital marketplaces to sell your products and services, and collaboration platforms to do networking and organize your favorite event, among many others. Furthermore, 100x will also create business opportunities. All these are easily accessible and convenient for 100x members. Step 6. In return, the 100x alumni hope to bring together like-minded people and provide mentoring, internship and career opportunities to help the network grow. Pillars are used to uphold purposes. At 100x, we believe that every entrepreneur should embark on a purposeful journey. 100x is built on 7 pillars. financial intelligence, fitness and wellness, business and entrepreneurship, sales and marketing, personal development, love and relationship, and hobbies and leisure. Sign up as a 100x member and start a purposeful journey.